Okay, Katie, Michael, Daniel, and the gang.
Soren makes four. Rin. Tammy. Tammini Halls of Medicine.
She knows her name.
It's called a memory palace. She'll get
She
it.
called you Namesy Guy. You want it so badly, it's distracting.
Well, this is supposed to be our Cheers, where everyone knows my name.
Really? I always got more of a Diner from Seinfeld vibe.
Exactly. Kramer, Elaine, George, and Vince from Entourage for some reason. I don't know any of these other people's names.
What's her name? I don't know.
By the way, Boston bars are full of people that just want to fight you because you think you look smart in those glasses. It only looks like Cheers to the drunks in the bar.
Oh! There's this theory that Courage the Cowardly Dog is actually just the normal world through the eyes of a dog on a farm. That's why it seems like they live in the middle of nowhere and all the monsters are mailmen and vacuum cleaners, people who aren't the dog's owners. Cheers could just be a dive bar through the eyes of Cliff and Norm and Fraser, the drunks at the bar.
Where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
Jumanov, the movie. It's told from multiple perspectives, so we get all the different points of views, but it's the same story.
We know what a Rashomon is.
We would do a list of them.
Cheers works. Everything drunks would like to believe about their lives is true inside of Cheers. They only get funnier and easier to be around the more they drink, and their nagging wives may as well not exist.
Yeah, but they fully acknowledge that they're avoiding their families.
Doesn't your wife ever complain that you never spend any time with her?
Would you?
And it's hilarious. In Cheers, Lilith is the frigid wife that you hear about in every bar joke about a sexless marriage, but everywhere else, Fraser is an objectively terrible husband and father.
The theme song is about going to a bar and drinking enough to forget about your worries. Or is that Piano Man?
Both. Piano Man is...
Yes, they're sharing a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone.
And Cheers is...
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
Piano Man could just be a sober guy describing Cheers. Everything smells like stale beer, the people are all drunk and lonely, and Paul
is a real estate novelist.
real estate novelist isn't a thing. And the reason you haven't had time for a wife is the same reason you're still talking with Davey, who's still in the Navy. Quit lying to yourself.
Oh man, and the Cheers song is just Cliff and Norm being like, woo! Everybody knows our name!
Evening, everybody.
Just the drunks at the end of the bar putting bread in the jar and screaming for him to play another song even though he's clearly already doing that.
P.S. I bet the people who work here are f***ing...
Sam, telephone call. Well, I'll just tell him you're breaking in a new way.
New challenge, Rashomon off that doesn't make me want to kill myself.
Pulp Fiction is two roughly 48-hour periods told from three different perspectives.
Okay, so the first is Vincent's story, where he finds the briefcase, gives it to Marcellus, and then takes his wife out.
Vincent is also the one who equates foot rubs with sex.
Eating a bitch out and giving a bitch a foot massage ain't eating the same thing.
It's not. It's the same ballpark.
And that happens to be the story that includes the classic Tarantino shot, just camera Uma Thurman's feet.
Okay, the second story then is Butch's, and it takes place the day of the fight and then the next morning.
Yes, days or maybe weeks after. Marcellus refers to it as the night of the fight at the bar when Vincent and Jules walk in looking like a couple of volleyball players.
That explains why me and Vincent are awkward when they see each other in Butch's locker room.
Yes, and then the third story just cycles back. It's the first 48 hours again?
Yes, but from Jules' perspective. So we're seeing the things that are important to Jules. The guy with the hand cannon completely misses them. Jules thought that was a miracle, and it's the first thing we see when he's telling the story. Vince skipped it.
Right. If Vincent were recapping the day to a friend, he'd probably say, said some cool shit to Jules about Europe and foot rubs, saw a neat light in a briefcase, a bunch of annoying shit happened, guy in a tux was a dick, took some heroin, the world became a French New Wave movie, almost killed my boss's wife, went home, jerked off.
Their whole look and dance from Jackrabbit Slims was ripped right from the French movie for which Tarantino has named his production company.
And Vincent just got back from France. Wait, is the square dotted line thing that he does French New Wave?
No, that's from a cartoon, but it actually is very fitting for Vincent. Vincent wants to be cultured, but he's always missing the point.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
He goes to France and eats at McDonald's.
Okay, so when Tarantino steals a shot from another movie, it's actually just one of his characters who's a fan of that movie. You know, the logic of that actually fixes Adam Sandler's character in Punch Drunk Love being a fallen Superman.
Blue suit, super strength.
The non-breakable handle, finally.
Has a love interest named Lena Leonard. LL, like Lois Lane.
And Cool J? And Bean?
Lana Lang, Lori Lamaris. His fetish for women with those initials is well documented.
Lex Luthor? When are those two gonna already, huh?
Yeah, and he literally leaps off of a second-story balcony hands first. It's a solid theory, but there's just as much Wonka in there, right? He gets the real power of flight from winning that chocolate pudding sweepstakes. That blue suit is totally Wonka. It just makes more sense if it's all happening inside of the brain of a person who likes Superman and Willy Wonka and is losing his mind.
Hey, speaking of independent films made by directors named Anderson who like to do creative things with subjectivity.
And at the end of the day, isn't that what we're always really talking about?
Wes Anderson! In the beginning of Grand Budapest Hotel, a little girl is reading a book that's narrated by a person 20 years in the past about something that happened 20 years before that he heard from an old man about something that had happened to him when he was a child. It's like nesting Rashomons.
Truly.
I've been working on a theory that all of Wes Anderson's movies are actually written by that melancholy little girl in Moonrise Kingdom. She sees her dad, Bill Murray, get cheated on by her mom, and then she grows up to be Margot Tenenbaum, and then she marries and cheats on a guy that looks exactly like her dad.
Have you met someone else?
Does that timeline work?
Sort of. In Moonrise, she's 12 and 65. And then in Tenenbaums, she's late 20s, early 30s, in what looks like a 70s impressionistic version of New York. Then, in her early 30s, the love of her life either dies or they get divorced or something, and she becomes a melancholy teacher in Rushmore. She's just mixing and matching real experiences, and all the characters have faces from people that she knows.
In both Tenenbaums and Rushmore, she's attracted to Luke Wilson. So there must have been some Luke Wilson looking guy in her real life when she was writing these.
But she always ends up with Murray. He's her dad, her husband, and the man she's having an affair with.
And in Rushmore, she says that her dead husband had a crazy obsession with Jacques Cousteau. So when she finally sits down to write her fourth book and stops ripping off Salinger, she makes him his own hero.
What are you talking about?
Bitch got some daddy issues.
Bitch got some daddy issues? Is that really what won the argument today?
No, I'm pretty sure Cheers was the best. I mean, yeah, it came first, but that doesn't matter. A lot of conversations start with the best point.
Cheers and Saved by the Bell, right? Both theme songs rush you through a sadder, more stressful world than the one in the show.
The Cheers theme was about people making their way into the world today, getting off work, and deciding not to go home to their horrible families. That reality doesn't matter because everyone's already drunk by the time that show starts. Saved by the Bell's theme song is about a kid missing the bus. Which I guess is the high school version of crippling alcoholism?
No, I mean, Saved by the Bell just zooms through Zach's whole day. It starts with him getting woken up by his alarm in the morning.
I wake up in the morning, the alarm gives out a warning. Yeah, that checks out.
And then the other bell is the bell at the end of the day, saving him from school.
Riding low in my chair, she won't know that I'm there. If I can hand it in tomorrow, it'll be all right. It's all right because I'm saved by
The bell?
It's all right because I'm saved by the... It's all right because I'm saved by the bell. Yeah, that checks out too.
The bell that he's talking about in that part is the bell at the end of the school day, the one that's saving him from school.
But Zach rules Bayside. Why would he want to be free?
Because he doesn't actually go to Bayside. That school only exists in his mind. In the first season, he went to a really realistic middle school in Indiana where he got C's and got in trouble all the time.
Those timeouts that freeze the whole world don't even exist in the first season. I mean, he's not even popular, and Miss Bliss busts his ass anytime he tries something. So of course when he dreams, he's gonna dream that he's the big man on campus with this gullible principal who wants to be his friend. But that all happens between the bell at the end of the school day and the one that wakes him up in the morning. That bell is sending him home to dream Bayside into existence.
That makes him so profoundly crazy.
Yeah, he's a sociopath. So, Cheers still won, huh?
Oh yes, absolutely. It was a valiant effort, though. I think this is just how normal conversations go.
Really just gonna shit on Zach like that? I know, Soren, you don't feel that way, right?
Soren, that's his name.
This whole time you've been trying to come up with it? Well, I built what's called a memory palace.
We call that idea a Michael.
Thank you, I think we
Aw,
should.
I like
How will we remember that, though?
Popfold?
Popfold?
Okay, cut. Challenge from the top. Action.
Okay, new challenge. Rashomon off that doesn't make me want to...
I stared directly at the camera.
The character from his movie who's a fan of that other movie. We're throwing so many movies there.
Let's
Do
just
that
touch our
better.
faces for a
We
while.
could do that better. I'll see what I can do.
The theme song is explicitly about going to a bar and drinking until you forget about your worries. Piano Man.
It's not Paris, it's France. He visits France and he's a
Paris is in France. It's the capital.
Really?
Anyway.
It's actually Sacramento.
He has a love interest named Lena Lenore. That was for sound anyway.
Yes. She becomes the melancholy teacher in Rushmore. Do you remember that movie? Rushmore?
Okay.
Bitch got some daddy issues. Ah.
Bitch got some daddy issues. Ah. That's what won the argument today. Ah.
Ah.
No. No,
Ah.
I'm pretty sure.
Like two
This side
episodes
won.
left.
We won.
Two